On the beginning of Home Team Sports 2.0, Episode 8, I would like to give a couple of personal shout outs because today is February 15th, 2024. It is the birthday of my aunt, my mom's sister, Aunt Jay. So happy birthday, Aunt Jay. She does watch, not necessarily live, but she does watch from time to time. So happy birthday to Aunt Jay. And a very happy birthday to the almighty Reverend Ace Dallas. Today is his birthday. As for the topic at hand, we all must now bow down. Chris, you, Harry, me, we need to bow down because this guy who has self-proclaimed himself the king, he is at least the king of home team sports because every time he says something's going to happen, he's going to happen. When are we going to start listening to him, Chris?
Never.
Never. Harry?
Nope.
Are we ever going to start listening to him?
I mean, we can listen, but
he was right throughout the play. He was right about the Cowboys. He was right throughout the playoffs. He was right about the Super Bowl. We were all on the 49ers. Not all of us, but I mean, I don't know. The Chiefs have the Chiefs before we talk about that, have the Chiefs become the Patriots? Like, are they you're either a Chiefs fan or you hate them now?
I think it's more they're not the Patriots because I mean, don't get me wrong, what they're doing is great, but I don't know if they should have won the Super Bowl. I don't really think they won it as much as Shanahan kind of did.
Okay.
But they're great. I mean, but
we'll talk about it in a minute. We'll talk about it in a minute. But before we get into the more in depth into the game itself, we have to mention the fact that, and I hate the fact that we have to mention that there was an actual shooting that took place at the parade. So on Wednesday, they had their parade. The Wednesday after the Super Bowl, that's usually traditional for whatever city wins, and in this case, it's the Chiefs, and they've had a few now. This is their third, and they are, riding high. Everybody's having a good time. The highlights I saw, I think at one point Travis Kelce tried to sing, but I mean, whatever. And, everybody looked like they were having a good time. The next thing you know, my phone starts blowing up. And everybody's like, oh, my God, did you hear about this? Oh, my God, did you hear about that? I'm like, what are you guys talking about? So I look. CBS Sports is reporting that there was a shooting at the Kansas City Super Bowl parade. 1 confirmed dead, more than 20 injured. What the actual fuck? Do you guys have anything to add to what I just said?
They said it was some kind of dispute between 3 people, but 2 of them were juveniles. What is a juvenile doing with the guns anyway? I don't understand that or how they get them. But
I heard teenagers,
just a dispute.
right?
It had nothing to do with Kansas City or anything like that. It's one of the most dangerous places in the United States. It's one of the worst for guns and for murders, and it's hard to believe that happened.
Any city that has a season on the first 48, it's a problem. It's a problem, and it's sad because the young lady that lost her life was a well-known radio host, Lisa Lopez, and she was just out there doing something that she loves, and because of somebody else's stupidity, she's no longer with us, and a lot of lives are ruined because of this. And it definitely takes away from what you're supposed to be there celebrating about. You're supposed to be celebrating that your team, the team of your city, went out there against a lot of different odds and won their 3rd Super Bowl, setting themselves up for possibly a three-peat.
Yeah, 2 in a row.
Yeah, and now that's completely overshadowed. It's sad. It's absolutely sad.
I think the worst part is, are any of you guys surprised that this happened? Honestly,
I am.
Not at this particular event. No, mass shootings happen all the time.
I mean, it's the saddest part is I don't think most people would go I can't believe this happened.
Right.
Like, it happens so often that it's not surprising. And when something like this happens, you should feel a bit of shock, a bit of like, I can't believe this happened, and it happens more often than it should. I mean, no matter if it's the most dangerous part of the country or wherever in the part of the country you live, it happens.
Right.
And you should go to an event like a parade for the Super Bowl and think to yourself, we're safe, everything is all right. But unfortunately, nowadays you live in a society where you have to have in the back of your mind that it's possible that it could happen. Like,
Right.
and it shouldn't. It's awful. No matter how you feel about whatever policies or whatever you want to feel, like there should be safe spaces for things, and there's not. And it's awful because most people that lost their lives and a lot of people that were injured were young people. This is not, and it makes it worse. It's not targeted. It's not like there was a target. It was just two people that had access to weapons that decided that it went this way, and it's awful, and it's terrible. And you know what's going to happen, unfortunately, is now the parade is not going to be what it is because you're going to have more security, you're going to have more police presence, and what should be a celebration is not going to be as much as a celebration. And Travis Kelce can't try to sing and, I guess, get words out, which sounded like words.
He shouldn't be trying. He shouldn't be trying to sing anyway. He should leave that to the girlfriend.
I thought he was.
That was not singing. That was.
I don't know what that was.
That was 4 a.m. karaoke.
Do you know why?
Words out of your mouth.
You know why he had the balls to sing, to actually sing? Because Taylor was on a plane to fucking Australia. That's why.
And he was singing in Braille, so I understand where he was coming from.
I mean, that was bad. I heard it. I was like, those are not words.
All right, so our hearts go with Kansas City and all involved in that. It shouldn't have happened then, but honestly, it's all anybody's talking about, not necessarily the game. So let's talk about the game. The Chiefs win back-to-back Super Bowls, 3 in the past 5 years. Before we talk about the implications of that, can we first talk about the game itself? So the 49ers looked pretty damn good in the first half. The defense was doing all they had to do. The offense was stuttering a little bit. Kansas City's defense, give credit to them. Kansas City's defense was stopping them when they had to. But in the first half and throughout much of that game, I'd say even into the third quarter a little bit, San Francisco was pushing them around the field a lot more than Kansas City was pushing them around the field.
Right.
So it really looked like it was going to be a close game. To some people, were calling it boring at halftime. But how big was the field goal at the end of the first half for Kansas City? That's number one. And then number two, how big was the blocked extra point that Kansas City blocked after a touchdown? How big were those two things? Huge, right? And man, I tell you what, the second half and overtime, I actually enjoyed it. Like, I actually enjoyed the game from the mid third quarter on and into the overtime. And we'll talk about the Don't get into the overtime too much, guys, because that's a whole nother topic. But the bottom line is Chiefs win the Super Bowl in overtime with a touchdown, swing out right. I think I saw an interview where who was the wide receiver that caught the game-winning touchdown?
Nico
Harden.
So he was on. So he was on ESPN or one of these shows, and they asked him what was the name of the play, and he said Tom and Jerry Wright. I thought that was cool, like Tom and Jerry Wright. That was called. And then they have video of it where Mahomes is in the huddle and he's calling that Tom and Jerry Wright thing. So he wasn't bullshitting. That's actually what it's called. But anyway, Chiefs win 58. Chiefs win Super Bowl 58. Harry, what did you think of the game?
I mean, I loved it. I did. I think where the game was lost, though, is the fumble, of course. Then you had the fumble with the punt because it touched them. Those are two spots. I think where they lost that, honestly, though, is Christian McCaffrey was the only weapon you had that was semi-consistent to consistent. And you got away from that. Brock Purdy, I mean, love him, hate him, feel how you feel about him. You can't put this game in the hands of a guy that isn't at least somewhat proven he can be there. Because this was his real first push into what is the prime time of the Super Bowl and things like that. You had Christian McCaffrey. Even if you don't get 10 yards of carry, you don't get those big bursts. 4 here, 5 there, wear them down. They got away from that in the first half. In the second half, I should say.
Mm-hmm. The whole third quarter, yeah.
Yeah, and it's you put a lot of the defense that hasn't been playing well, that played well, but wasn't playing well before that. I think you just I like Shanahan. I do. I think he gets too smart for himself. I think he's getting to the point where people know he's a good genius or whatever you want to call him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets too smart. He tries to show you how smart he is. Mm-hmm. When all you have to do is run the ball. You know? And then you missed Chris Jones when I think all of us could have got to Brock Purdy at that point because no one touched him.
Oh, my God.
Nobody was near him. You know, I think I hate to say it, and I don't know if Alan or you guys agree. This is very Andy Reid-ish to me with Shanahan. He gets you there. He just can't get you over the top. And at some point, this is going to run out on him. And at some point, Kansas City, I'm not saying San Francisco is going to get sick of this and try to get someone that's going to get them there.
Have they not been have they not become the Buffalo Bills in the NFC in the past 10 years?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they're always around. They're hovering around, and then they make the Super Bowl more
times. They
have
so much more talent, though. If you look at Buffalo and you look at at San Francisco, because look at what San Francisco got at the deadline. You got Chase Young. You got all these other guys on defense.
That was huge. He had a stellar game, too. He was all over the field.
Buffalo
was a madman.
Buffalo held in there. Buffalo was right there with Kansas City, and they were missing everybody on defense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's San Francisco. I don't know. Like, what more do you need? Like, everybody was healthy.
Everybody was healthy. They had everybody. The one thing was Debo. They didn't use Debo a lot. Like, Debo was hurt, you could tell. Because he only got 3. I think he got like 5 targets. He only got 3 catches for like 30 yards. Yeah, they used a lot of McCaffrey. Like, McCaffrey had like 160 all-purpose yards. He had like 80 yards rushing, 80 yards receiving. He was like the only guy they had out there, it seemed like, for a while. They're also like Ayuk. They used a lot of him. They used a lot of Jennings. But, like, Purdy, I thought Purdy was fine. I thought Purdy was pretty solid. He wasn't, like, stellar, but he was solid. Like, he didn't turn the ball over, like, with interceptions, I'm saying. And he was, I got the stat in front of me here. He was 23 of 38 for 255 and a touchdown. I mean, in a close game, you know, stats don't mean everything. I know that the MVP of the game, Patrick Mahomes, had 300-plus yards passing. He had 60 yards rushing. He accounted for both touchdowns, the game winner, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, listen, the word GOAT is being thrown around because a lot of people, you know, look at Tom Brady as that guy, right? Because he's won all these championships, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. This kid is 28 years old. Mm-hmm. He already has 3. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? How far does he get? That's the question. Like, is it, you know what I'm saying? Like, he ran his mouth at the parade on the stage. He said, we're talking three-peat next year. Like, you know what I'm saying? That would be his fourth Super Bowl. Yes. Okay, so if he delivers, That would be his
He
fourth
won't.
Super Bowl. I'm just saying, like, every time you doubt them, Chris, they fuck your head up.
They should not have won this game. If you watch the game like everybody else did, how many holding penalties were not called on the Chiefs?
Oh, I'm not
At
saying it
least
wasn't rigged.
6. At least it was rigged. It was rigged for them to do this. There is no way.
Yeah.
I watched the game twice. I watched it back after the game was already over. I watched it 2 days later. There was 6, 7 holding penalties on the big downs that these referees did not call anything.
Yeah.
It does not make any sense that you win 3 Super Bowls and don't have one holding penalty. That is
And what about the game
absurd.
tying? And what about the game tying drive where it went from all of a sudden it went from 2nd and 7 to 1st and 10? Like the graphic changed.
Yeah,
Like it literally. No,
and
it
you
was.
can't say you can't say that they didn't know the Super Bowl rule. You got to be
Right.
kidding me.
Well,
They
the
knew what
overtime. We're
the
going to talk
Super
about
Bowl
that.
rule was.
We're going to talk about that.
I mean, this was just it. It's almost like watching the Seattle game where they threw it on the last play for an interception when you got Marshawn Lynch just sitting there. That makes
Right.
no sense at all.
Right.
They just want the Chiefs to win, and most of the money was betted on San Francisco. So Vegas made a ton of money off of
Vegas
that
made
game.
money. Mahomes is the face of the league right now, Harry. No,
This is getting more fixed every single year we watch this stuff.
He is, and it's. You would have thought this year with everything with Kansas City, because I mean, dropping passes, all of the crap that Kansas City was doing.
They didn't have that number one receiver. They talked about it all year. They're like, it's going to catch up to them eventually in the playoffs.
It makes you wonder. It does. It really does make you wonder.
They had the most holding penalties in the league, and all of a sudden you don't do any in the Super Bowl? Yeah, okay.
Here's my question, though. Let's just say that you're correct, which you probably are, but let's just say that you are. All right? Doesn't the NFL want to do away with dynasties? Don't they want to have fans think that their team has a chance? And like the Patriots controlled 15 years pretty much. Right. They were in 10 Super Bowls. They won 6 of them. For 15 years we had to deal with the Patriots. And then now we're going to have to deal with the Chiefs for the next 10 years.
I don't see. I think the big difference, though, is there is a lot of parity in the AFC that there wasn't before. Because you have to think the Bengals are coming back. Burrow's going to be healthy.
I'm counting on Uncle Joe. Right. Please save us all, Uncle Joe. Get your ass and get the freaking straps on, man. Get the helmet on, man. Come on, Joe.
But then you also have Buffalo, who's going to be there for maybe a year or 2.
I don't believe him.
Maybe we'll see. But
Josh Allen.
The big thing is you should watch out for the Chargers. I really think Jim Harbaugh.
Right. Not next year, though.
Oh, no. This year, man. I'm telling you. This year.
I think give him a couple drafts and I'll agree with you. I don't think he's going to just flip-flop that around and take the division away from the Chiefs.
I don't know how much you have to flip-flop, really, because you still have a great quarterback. You still have a good receiving core. A running back you can get lots of places. There's lots of running backs available.
They're a dime a dozen nowadays in this league.
They're slated to take either the tight end from Georgia or an offensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
So you have that. You have a decent defense. You're going to shed some dead weight when you get rid of Bosa and you get rid of Khalil Mack. So you get some flexibility there with the cap to get some linemen. I'm telling you, Harbaugh's going to push them. No. They weren't bad because of talent. They were bad because
Did he freeze?
They were bad because their defense is horrible. One of the worst in the league. They gave up like 28 points a game.
And that offensive line is shoddy.
Yeah. The Chargers are not going to do anything. Even Herbert, he's a
right
mediocre
away.
quarterback. He's not a top
Not right away.
5 quarterback in the league.
Give them time. Give them time. Give Harbaugh
I have
time.
friends with a Chargers fan who's been suffering for this for years. They cannot stay healthy. This team gets injured every single year. All their players get hurt every
So that
single
goes
year.
to
And that's why the
coaching.
Chargers
That goes
do
to
nothing.
discipline. Harbaugh's going to come
That's why
in
the
there and
Chargers do nothing.
Harbaugh's going to do, but it's going to take him a couple of years. I say give him 2 drafts to implement his system, to implement his, get Justin Herbert playing the way he should be, which he's potential. We've seen it. We've seen shades of him be awesome.
Bring in Kaepernick as a backup.
All right,
You just
moving on.
Watch out for the Jets this year. If Aaron Rodgers is healthy with those offensive weapons,
this next one I'm popping up, right? It's always the Jets. It goes back to the Jets.
Okay.
Right. Just answer yes or no, Harry. Can the Chiefs three-peat next year?
They absolutely can. I think they can. I think they need to go get a receiver. Maybe not a big-time receiver, but a receiver. Somebody. Because Rashid Rice is what Rashid Rice is.
Adrian, you agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
Rice is good.
Where was Kadarius Toney during the Super Bowl? Can anybody tell me?
On the couch with us.
On the couch with us.
Mm-hmm. Garbage. Come on, he's garbage. He's
garbage. Absolutely.
They're gonna get in. They're gonna trade for Antonio.
They're gonna get Mike Evans.
Or him.
They get Mike Evans.
Chris, can they three-peat? You don't want to admit it, but you know it's true.
No, I don't believe so. I don't even think they're going to win a division next year. That division they talked about last year, if these guys stay healthy, and like Harry said, if the Chargers get better, the Raiders are better, I mean, they might not even win the division.
No, they're going to win the division.
No, I think you know what?
Raiders are rebuilding. Raiders are rebuilding. Chargers are going to be there, but they're not going to win the division yet. So
the only thing that can
Denver?
Stop them,
you worry about Denver?
Well, if
you don't even know who
quarterback, maybe.
I saw Sean Payton on ESPN on Get Up or whatever the hell it is. Get It Up, because those old fogies are on it. Mike Greenberg, whatever. And it might as well be called that. Say out of his mouth, I don't know who my quarterback is yet for 2025, 2024.
Broncos country, let's rock.
He doesn't know.
J.J. McCarthy. They're going to get J.J. McCarthy to come in there.
But he doesn't know. That's my point. You should know at least, or you should have an idea.
Okay, so there's a chance they can three-peat, but I don't think they're going to do it.
All right.
There's a chance. Give him a good chance.
King, at least he admits that, Your Highness.
Thank you. I feel the pain.
Right. So a lot of the I saw a lot of the 49ers players admit that they did not know the new postseason overtime rules. Whether they're lying or not, I don't know. But if they aren't lying, that means the coach didn't enforce that stuff. I heard Travis Kelce on his podcast, New Heights, say that Big Red pushed that overtime shit into his boys' heads all week, like several times. And that's why Mahomes was so excited when they did the coin flip at overtime and 49ers wanted the ball. He goes running the sidewalk. They want the ball. They want the ball, baby, because he was told that if you win the coin toss, defer. If you lose the coin toss, hopefully they take the ball. Because with the new postseason overtime rules, it's advantageous to let the other team have the ball first. In the old rules, in the regular season rules, it's advantageous for you to get the ball because if you score a touchdown, game over.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But now each team gets a possession whether you score a touchdown or not. And that's why, the 49ers were confused. Now, listen, they only scored a field goal. It was 19-19. They scored a field goal, making it 22-19. So, even by the old rules, Kansas City still would have got the ball. So it doesn't freaking matter. My point is, it doesn't matter if they freaking didn't know the rules or not. They lost the damn game in overtime because they didn't get in the end zone, and Kansas City did.
And can I add this in too?
Yeah,
they did it before the end of the quarter. So regardless regardless of that BS that they're trying to say, like, oh, we didn't know. Okay, so if you still think about it, like you said, in the aspect of it's regular season, you still would have lost the fucking game because they scored a touchdown before the end of the quarter. So
here's my question.
But even in
Go ahead, Harry.
Go ahead.
No, here's my question. So you're playing Patrick Mahomes, right? Why are you giving Patrick Mahomes 4 downs to get a first down when you could realistically just say, all right, give you the ball. Now you only have 3 downs to get a first down because you should kick a field goal just in case. So Patrick Mahomes already knows he has 4 downs to get a first down every time.
Yep.
Right? And why on earth, if you're going to say, all right, we're going to take the ball first, why are you not trying to get that touchdown? Why are you kicking that damn field goal?
that's
my question. If I was Shanahan in his glory, all right, I'm going to go score a touchdown because now I have to Patrick Mahomes score that touchdown.
Yeah.
And you were right there. You could have went for it on 4th down. Like, that's why I think he totally messed that up.
It was like 4th and 6. And they had just Brock Purdy just got the shit scared out of him because, guy came right down the pipe, unblocked.
Yeah, like it's stupid. And then he's talking about analytics and what they told him. And it made no sense. Like you had no plan. And if they didn't know, shame on you for not telling your players that these rules are going on.
Exactly. Chris, do you agree with these new rules or should they stay the same as they are in the regular season?
No, they should stay the same. The regular season ones are different from the playoff ones. But you can't tell me the coaches didn't know the overtime rules. But here's the thing. If you're playing college football, you tell me one college football team in overtime that doesn't want to play defense first. You want to know and be able to stop them to know you need a field goal to win or a touchdown to win.
Or a touchdown,
it made no sense for them to take the ball first. I don't understand that. And
mistake number 1. Mistake number 1.
You play defense first all the time. Regardless if they just marched down, kicked a field goal, tied the game, went to overtime, you always play defense first. That's why Mahomes was so hyped up about them getting the ball first because he's like, okay, if you kick a field goal, I'm going to march down the field and beat you. And guess what? He did.
And that's what he did. It's almost like he knew. Like he knew he was going to win the Super Bowl as soon as the coin toss happened. Like nothing else happened yet. He's on the sidelines jumping up and down, yelling and screaming at all his guys, let's go, let's go, let's go, because he knows that he's probably going to win the Super Bowl.
It just goes to show you, though, that I don't think Kyle Shanahan can get a team over that hump. I really don't.
Oh man, I can't disqualify the job that organization did this year. NFC champs. Yeah. They dominated almost everybody. The only team that had a chance to beat them or beat them really, had their way with them was the Arizona Cardinals because I just don't know why they were the Achilles heel.
But look at the playoffs, though. The playoffs, it wasn't like they dominated the playoffs.
They still won when they had, they pulled the trigger when they had to in the second half. They were doing what the Chiefs usually do. Look like shit in the first half and then destroy you in the second half.
Yeah, but you're playing a Green Bay team that's very inexperienced, that's young as hell. You're playing a Detroit team that's young as hell, very inexperienced.
Both of those teams will be back next year.
But then you play Kansas City, and you do all right in the first half, but when it got time to really do it, every time this happens to Kyle Shanahan, he folds. He makes bad decisions.
And they got turnovers. They got turnovers early. They didn't capitalize. They went 1, 2, 3 and out on both turnovers.
But it was mistakes with the kickoff, with the missed extra point that was blocked. I mean, they had the game. It's just mistakes happen. But with that extra point, guess what? Patrick Mahomes has got to go for it. and you got to try to score a touchdown, not kick a field goal to tie the game.
Mm-hmm.
He literally line drived it into the guy. He didn't kick it up and over. He line drived it. So
It was a bad
that didn't
snap,
make any
too.
sense to me either.
That was a horrible snap. That was a horrible snap. It was a high snap. Guy had to catch it and put it down, and that screwed up the trajectory of that kick. If you ask me what happened to them, they got tired. They got tired because eventually, the way Kansas City was operating, once they found their tempo. If you notice, the defense kept getting gashed and gashed and gashed and gashed and gashed. So
they were thinking something down the field. They were doing 10-yard things, 10-yard, 10-yard, middle, 10-yard out.
You got to think how many plays that is on a series per series with the defense. When they didn't stop them, came in the second half. You're dominated. You're like on cloud now. We got this in the bag. You lose Greenlaw, who was if he wasn't rushing, he was covering Kelsey. He had Kelsey shut down in the first half. Now he's hurt. He tore his Achilles, and so now Kelsey's going to run wild. So you got to adapt and fix that with somebody who's less experienced, who can't keep up with the man. And Fred Warner, like, fantastic player. He's not a cover linebacker. He's a thumper. And you got them running all over the field. You're still running them down the throat with Pacheco. He's not getting a lot of yards, but he's
first three quarters. Both defenses were awesome.
Yeah,
both defense.
Yeah,
first three quarters. After that,
they
got tired. They got tired.
Kansas City. I mean, not Kansas City. The 49ers forgot who they had in their team. They had Brandon Ayuk, and he's frustrated because he has been fighting to get the ball all year. He has been fighting
so good
to get the ball all year, and that is his biggest frustration. Even in the Super Bowl, when he was like, I don't know what's going on because he's frustrated. There's been plenty of plays where he was open. You got to look at Rasheed Rice from who was on Kansas City. He was open several times. And he walked over to Patrick Mahomes, was losing his shit, and he had to get calmed down. But if you look at it, Deebo Samuel got hurt. Chris McCaffrey, they ran him, and I don't care what anybody says. Come that third quarter, he was struggling. That's why they didn't run the ball with him, because he got up a couple times limping and stayed in a couple more plays, then went out. But he was getting beat up. He was getting like that wears on him. Like he had those big runs and big gashes. You're tired, but you're steady pounding the rock, and they're filling the box and they're stopping you, and you're steady pounding it, and now you're getting caught in the backfield because your legs aren't as fresh as they were. You're not getting the rest that you need, sit a spell. No, all you had was McCaffrey. Samuel's hurt. George Kittle was non-existent.
He didn't show up. Yeah, he
was non-existent because they had him locked down.
One catch.
Yeah,
one catch.
They had him locked down the entire game. So that screwed up the game plan too, because, okay, well, where are you going to go? You got Jennings. Jennings showed his ass off, especially with the little trick play that they did. That was neat as hell.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was
awesome. I'm sorry, but that was cool.
That was cool as shit, because I was like, oh, he's gone. He is gone.
You know who they could have used, though, too? They could have used their fullback, too, more in the past.
Yeah.
Because he's a converted tight end. So
and not too many teams use fullbacks anymore, but these two teams do. 49ers do as well.
Amazing. He's amazing. He was
a beast, too. He was blocking for McCaffrey. He was catching it out of the backfield. He was doing some cool stuff.
He's a converted tight end, so you had another passing option that they just didn't use. They used him early, first quarter.
Yeah, and he was showing his ass. He was showing his ass.
Overall, I thought it was a good Super Bowl. I didn't really care who won. I was sort of kind of rooting for the 49ers. I usually root NFC, but I didn't get upset when they lost. I was like, oh well, But I didn't watch the celebration afterwards either, because I don't want to see confetti running on Big Red, whatever.
Right. My jaw was dropped because I was like, there is no way in hell Nico Harmon is catching this touchdown. Yeah, he did. he did it. They got rid of him, and then got him back, and then he caught the game. He caught the Super Bowl winning touchdown. Really.
Yeah, he did. I'll tell you what though. So yeah, congrats to the Chiefs. 2 in a row, 3 in the last 5 years. Let's see if they three-peat. I don't know. Is he going to catch Brady? Time will tell. I don't know.
Maybe.
We'll
He's
see.
the best quarterback in the league right now.
He is.
Bar none.
Until he gets if he gets a prime time, we talked about it. He gets a prime time 100 yards a game wide receiver, that kind of guy.
It's not fair.
I know. He had Tyreek Hill. If he gets somebody like that, I'm just saying.
It's not fair.
Okay. You mentioned, before I get to our last topic, Adrian, you mentioned something about Jalen Carter threatening the 49ers.
Oh, my God. So there's this beef going on between Jalen Carter and one of the offensive guards for the 49ers. They've been jockeying back and forth since I guess it was a playoff game or something where the 49ers won and Jalen Carter took it real personal.
Yeah.
So next thing you know, the guy says something. Then the guy says something about Jalen Carter's mom. The guy talks about his mom. Jalen Carter says something about his
moms. Chris, you played football, man. Didn't they talk about moms? Adrian, did you play football?
Yeah.
You're talking about moms on the field, don't you?
Yeah.
I never played. Harry, did you play? I don't know if you played.
No. Football was the one sport I didn't play.
But Chris, did you you'd say she's a MILF or what would you say?
Oh yeah.
Oh no, it was a lot worse.
Yeah, it was probably.
It was worse to compliment her than it was to diss her.
Oh no, the compliments were disses. They were bad.
Oh,
they were bad.
Okay,
they were bad.
Well,
like
I wouldn't. I'm just saying, that kind of shit happens all the time, and it doesn't. When I hear it on Instagram or when it pops up or something like that, the guy's going to threaten and post about his kids or whatever.
Yeah. He said you won't be allowed to see your kids.
The only thing I got to say about that is keep that shit on the field, man. You all talk smack every fucking game. You call each other's whatever you want to call each other. Mm-hmm. Leave it on the field. Stop being assholes.
It was insane. It was absolutely insane. Like, he told him you won't be allowed to see your children. I guarantee you that. You will not be allowed to see your children. Your children gonna remember you from the last time. Like he went off on this man, and then the guy was like, he played like totally played up the victim. Like, I can't believe like he was saying that about me and my children because this is so offensive. Okay, I don't know why he is on social media.
We live in a sensitive world, man.
Doing this, like, I love my babies.
All 5 of them.
Yeah, all 25 of my kids are right here. Watching this, man. Yeah, so it was sad. It was sad.
I mean,
right.
It could be worse. You could be Isaiah Stewart of the Pistons, just punching people in the face for no fucking reason. It's just, just pow.
Yeah.
Just
hey, Isaiah, hi. Okay, that's how you say hello. I got it. That's how you say hello.
I mean, nothing says, good afternoon like a nice getting arrested for punching somebody before the game.
Exactly. He learned how to speak from he learned the greeting, the Trail Spreewell School of Greeting.
Yeah.
He went. Yeah.
I read that. I saw that. I was like, really? Like, just punch him in the face, no reason.
Yeah. Draymond Green attended a couple of years, but he got kicked out. So.
Yeah, but he was in the game. Like,
any chance you get to talk about Draymond Green, you find a way, man.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
I don't talk about Grape Ape that much. Come on now.
All right. So last thing I got here, guys, is favorite commercials. Did you guys pay attention to them, or did you go take piss breaks? Knowing Chris and Harry, they probably took piss breaks. But favorite commercial. Is there a commercial that stuck out to you guys? And after we're done with telling each other's favorite commercials, I thought we'd give our thoughts on the Usher halftime. Harry?
So I watched them. I mean, they're all right. They're not as good as they used to be.
It's hard. It's hard when you have these classics back in the day. It's hard to trump that.
I mean, the Dunkin' Donuts with J-Lo and Affleck was pretty good.
Sure.
That was all right. I mean, I think the crazier thing is how much these companies pay for a 30-second commercial.
For 30 seconds. Yeah. Yep.
Like if you're Dunkin' Donuts or you're Pepsi or you're whoever, Do you need a 30-second commercial? Like everyone knows who the hell you are.
All right, he mentioned the Dunk Kings one. Adrian, did one stick out to you?
Deadpool, absolutely, Deadpool.
Oh, Deadpool's
Deadpool.
Deadpool trailer.
That was it. Deadpool. There was a lot of Jesus, but Deadpool.
There was a lot of Jesus. I noticed that too. More than I've ever seen. Like religious commercials.
I've never. You see maybe one every couple of weeks. Jesus was everywhere during the Super Bowl.
Jesus needs you. Yes, he needs you in his life. Okay.
It makes it so everybody is taking cut off their comb.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Chris, did you like any of them?
I didn't see many. Like I said, I was going on pee breaks. But, I mean, I wish they would bring back, like, the Bud Bowl. Something like that on commercials. Something like that. The Bud Bowl was so awesome back in the day.
They had a wrestling match one time at halftime. They had The Rock versus Mick Foley.
It was halftime heat.
Halftime heat. They got to bring that back. I'm all for that.
He busted Mick Foley's head in that one.
I would love it. That was an empty arena match. Mm-hmm. Anyway, my favorite commercial was Arnold Schwarzenegger trying to say neighbor. State Farm.
Like a good neighbor.
That was my favorite. And this girl's going in labor and all, And at the end, he's with Danny DeVito, and it's like a twins reunion kind of thing. There,
you're a backstabber.
Backstabber. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. That was my favorite.
Man, what's wrong with you?
As far as Usher goes, I like Usher. I think it's a matter of when these halftime shows, if you like the artist or don't like the artist, is whether or not you like the show. So that, to me, I mean, I've always been a fan of his. So, like, I thought it was pretty cool. It wasn't the most spectacular thing I ever seen in my life. I mean, I remember Michael Jackson back in the day, Prince, Lady Gaga, or when Timberlake pulled off Janet Jackson's boob. I remember those. Am I going to remember this one in 5 years? Probably not. You know what I'm saying?
I was
probably not.
You were triggered. Why? Why were you triggered?
Your childhood trigger. But did you guys notice the audio seemed very off?
Yeah.
And he seemed like he hasn't taken a workout in like 6 years. He seems very out of breath.
Out of shape.
So
go ahead.
First of all, I'm with you with the audio because Alicia Keys, that high note was a mid note all the way through. Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened with that.
And you better check on Usher because if I'm
why did he need Alicia Keys and Ludacris? Why did he need all these people? Why did he need all these people?
They were all part of the his greatest hits. But that ain't what got me triggered. I was vibing out and I was enjoying every bit of it, minus the couple of the roller skate chick falling off the stage. And
did you find roller skate?
I don't like roller skates is a traumatic thing for me. I got PTSD from them.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that at a different time. Alicia Keys getting a lady bone very visibly, and then her talking with a deep ass voice when she was singing. But the thing that really messed me up was why was his nipples out? Like I understand. Like everybody, like, oh, it's Usher. Why you gotta pull your titties out on national TV? They wouldn't let Janet Jackson wear a bullet pasty. You got your nipples and your belly button exposed to all them cheerings in the stands, watching you fucking sweat and glisten in front of all them folks.
Does anybody else close your eyes when Adrian goes on these rants and picture like Sherman Klump?
But here's the thing: how many babies were made? I want to know how many babies are going to come out because Usher was on stage.
Yeah,
he was letting it burn.
No, the voice. I'm not saying you look like him. I'm saying the voice.
It was the voice. Okay, I appreciate
the voice of Sherman Klump. Like,
so you saying I
don't know, Miss Purdy. I don't know, Miss Purdy. Maybe you come over my house, meet my family.
You trying to say I sound like Eddie Murphy? That's the bullshit I'm talking about.
Here's the thing that got me. I loved it. But the man's got to realize he's not Usher 20 years ago.
He is 57 years old.
Anymore. You're not rolling around on skates.
They waited on, man. They missed the boat on this. Why didn't you just have Taylor do that? Taylor was there. Why didn't you just have Taylor do the halftime show?
But like that, I'm saying, like anybody check off the bitch who fell off the stage. Like they just kept going. Like and she done broke both legs and she's screaming in the background. You can hear it. She's screaming.
You want to know the worst part though? Like they wanted Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber's like, no, I'm good.
He was there though. They showed him in the stands. He was at the game.
Yeah, He said he wasn't feeling it, is what he said.
He's like, fuck you, pricks. I'm just gonna sit here and
He's
watch.
too busy with his wife that wants nothing to do with him.
Oh man!
But, I mean, I would be upset. I would be upset too, because if Justin Bieber's lady fell off the stage or one of his backup dancers, it'd be national media. Them motherfuckers up there doing the A-Town stomp when this chick is crawling to safety. You understand? Like, she is trying to get some help, and we can't help you because you got a crowd around you, and they stepping on your hands and shit while your leg is doing this. That's fucked up. That's fucked up.
I don't know, man. Like, I like the Alicia Keys one was great. It felt very flat to me. Like, it was just.
She got a deep ass voice that felt flat. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. Like, you're not putting your arms around my wife like that. That's not happening. That's not.
How do you think that interaction went? Maybe it's okay. He's just afraid I did stuff with him.
Yeah.
Like, you think it was like that? Yeah.
I bet you Usher's got like goons at his house the day after, just
yeah.
He got married that weekend.
He got married that night.
Yeah, he got married that weekend.
Night.
He was there.
Yeah, he got married that night. Yeah, and then because he was worried about.
I liked it. I thought it was good, but it was Usher 20 years ago when I liked Usher. I think they need to get back to rock. Enough of this rap stuff and dancing and all this stuff. But the thing is, Usher didn't get paid for this. He made no money. Zero. He made zero money to do
he's got
this.
a tour. Doesn't he have a tour or an album coming out or something like that?
Yes, he made no money to be there. So all these rock people want all this money to play the show and do all this stuff. So they go cheap. They're like, okay, you just want to advertise your new album or you want to do this, this, and this. And they let him in. And, I mean, he's good, but it's Usher 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Nobody listens to Usher's music now. Who listens to Usher's music now?
Well, apparently Alicia Keys.
Yeah, maybe.
He was
crazy? Good. He was one of the best. But now, not so much.
Here's the crazy thing, and I don't know if you guys knew this because I didn't know it. So 10 years ago, 12 years ago, whenever it was, her sang, I want to say the national anthem or something like that. And now she was playing guitar in the Usher thing.
Right.
And I think, you know what? I just thought of this. You know what you're all missing? I think we should all really send out some people to Jermaine Dupri's house and ask him a simple question of what the hell were you wearing and who told you should look like that?
Look, man, he looked like a ghetto preschooler. You leave that man alone. Okay?
No, the Declaration of Independence was signed.
Yeah,
that
them
Superbowl was there.
You see them socks? You a millionaire. You a millionaire.
I didn't even know who that was. I was like, who is that? And then I looked. I'm like, that's Jermaine Dupri. I'm like, why does he look like that?
I was like, who's the boy on TV talking like that, saying it's so? Oh shit, never mind. He got a mustache.
So deaf. So deaf.
Yeah, and his socks was bigger than his shoes. That is.
He looked like a pilgrim. I'm telling you.
A pilgrim. He was a ghetto pilgrim. I can tell you that.
It was
instead of four skulls like Thoush skulls and 7 years ago, something else. Get your ass off the stage.
I did like the beginning though with Reba being on there.
Reba was great.
Whoever sang
I love Reba.
The Black National Anthem, that was good. And then Post Malone.
She sung the national anthem, like she sung right. She sung the national anthem at a rodeo like 40 years ago. And nobody knew who the hell she was. And here she is, Super Bowl, 40 years later, she's at the Super Bowl and she's singing the national anthem. So, yeah, country music legends.
They did great, all three of them, in the beginning.
It was good.
I'm sorry. He looks like a
Post Malone is the ugliest guy I've ever seen in my life.
He got wet after midnight. And that's
you guys are knocking the one guy who had the balls to wear a Cowboys jacket in a game with the Chiefs versus the 49ers.
And he took it off immediately.
And you know what? He has tattoos.
He didn't take it off immediately. He had it on for a while. They kept showing him. He had the damn thing on. And somebody said, hey, why don't you try this on for size?
It was Kermit's wife.
After they won.
Yeah. Was it Kermit's wife or was it the owner of the Chiefs' daughter?
No, it was Kermit's wife.
Oh. Well, listen, if Kermit's wife came at me, She looks angry. I might put a jacket on too.
Yeah, just don't stab me with that chant,
She's
please.
got that crazy white girl in her.
I want to see a Chiefs jacket on Chris Vant. That's what I want to see because that one.
What is that secret hug that she had there at the parade with Elaire? Edwards Elaire. That's what they're talking about.
Maybe that's like you're gonna get cut because you're awful.
Yeah. Hey, I want to let you know that you ain't do shit. You ain't gonna be shit. So we got to get rid of you.
That's a wasted first round pick. I'll tell you.
All right, let me get some announcements out of the way before we get out of here. On Sunday, Around the Turnbuckle returns after a hiatus. I was sick and I had some family issues, so Around the Turnbuckle's back this Sunday at 7, special time 7. Newly crowned champion in upstate New York, Attilio Aprile, will be on Around the Turnbuckle. You can see Adrian on Monday nights with the Three Beards of Wrestling podcast, Monday nights at 7. You can see us each and every Thursday at 7. And next week we're going to get into March Madness, maybe talk a little baseball, maybe talk a little NBA.
Are we going to talk about that sexy?
Are we going to talk about the UFL? Yes, because it's fun to make fun of it.
We should talk about that nice shirt that Adrian had on Monday. I saw it. I was impressed. I had to go on his little podcast.
On Three Beards?
That nice shirt, yeah. He had a
shirt. You were smack talking Adrian on Three Beards?
Yeah, he was looking all right. I'll tell you.
What were you wearing? Is that the same shirt?
I don't remember. I don't even remember.
Is that the same shirt?
No.
I don't remember.
Harry, can you describe the shirt? Or is it the same shirt he's wearing?
What was it up? I think it was like a green shirt he had on.
Oh, yeah.
I know. Don't act like you don't know.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know. It accentuates my body. It's just showing up.
Yeah.
It's showing off like it's
snack. It's all right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I try to hide it.
Is it me or Harry? That's twice now Harry's talking about people's fashion sense. Like,
hey, man,
twice
he's
in the past 10 minutes. He's the fashionista. He's the fashionista.
Don't knock it, all right?
Yeah.
You dress better than me. You always have. I'm a t-shirt and jeans kind of guy. You have always dressed better than me.
Well, I have a sweatshirt on, so I'm not really, it's all right.
Not right now. I meant like out in public.
Oh, well, yeah.
Look, we're going to fix this, all right? So this is what we're going to do. Me and Harry, we're going to go to the store to get Al and Chris, the Jermaine Dupri special. All right,
We're going to go to what was that store when we were
Colonial America. Colonial America. That's what we're gonna do. It's a store called Colonial America.
It's so fucking hot and humid down in South Carolina. He walks around there with no shirt on.
We're gonna go to Ross.
72 degrees today.
It's 72 degrees in February. What kind of?
It's 22 degrees here right now.
Welcome to the South.
I mean, I played basketball on Christmas because in Florida it's like hella hot. So
it's so hot in South Carolina when I went down there that I lost about 5 pounds going from the bed to the bathroom.
I go down there. I'm gonna sweat skin tones. I'm staying up here. Like that's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna go down there and it's gonna be like, hey, there's 4 white guys on the screen. All right, that's what it's gonna be like. Like it's bad. It's bad. I don't need that. I don't need that. I'm gonna stay here where I've been acclimated and not melt. But Alicia Keys got a deep ass voice. I just want to bring that back up there. And Usher,
Alicia Keys,
put on a damn shirt.
Yeah, poor Alicia Keys.
His areolas was in the camera.
Yo, was there any other movie trailers besides Deadpool that you enjoyed? Because there was one in particular that I just thought I popped as if like Stone Cold Steve Austin's glass broke. Can you guess which one it was? I mean, I jumped out of my seat and I went berserk. And my wife made fun of me.
Wicked, yes. That I was like, what? It wasn't that a musical. I mean, I don't know.
Broadway musical for the past 20 years. They're making it into a movie.
I've never watched it or anything twice, but I'm just saying, like, it just,
Jen knows. Look, see Jen.
Yeah.
Jen knows. Did she get excited about that, Chris?
Yeah. I think she's more excited though that the Minions are coming back. The new Minions movie's coming out.
Who doesn't need that for the 15th time?
Fellas, if you don't know, if you don't watch South Park, it taught us a very valuable lesson when it came to the Broadway musicals.
What's that?
Just
okay.
Watch the Broadway episode.
I thought you were going to tell us the lesson, so we didn't have to.
Just take your wife to a Broadway musical.
I have.
Take your wife or girlfriend. And did you get a special prize at the end of it? We'll talk about that later.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah,
all right, we're out of here. We'll see you guys next week. Home Team Sports out.